Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. teased the cuts earlier this week.
We're going to go back to providing gold standard science. We're going to get the money to the scientists and to the patients rather than to the administrators and to the bureaucrats.
Overall, HHS says it's slashing its workforce by a total of 20,000 through 10,000 layoffs and another 10,000 workers taking early retirements or buyouts. Most of the cuts will be in the public health agencies, the FDA and CDC, which will shed roughly 6,000 positions. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
A hearing today of the Senate Commerce and Aviation Subcommittee is preliminary findings a crash involving American Airlines flight and an Army Black Hawk helicopter in January. That crash killed 67 people, half a dozen connected to the Boston Skating Club. NTSB Chair Jennifer Hamdi testified and said the agency will be thorough in its investigation.
I know we're all searching for answers, the right safety solutions. But the NTSB is the gold standard for accident investigations for a reason. We are thorough and we're fact-based. We leave no stone unturned, and we let the evidence guide us.
The FAA acted upon an NTSB recommendation and banned non-essential helicopter travel around Reagan National earlier this month. Last night, the TD Garden a tribute to those killed in that crash. The skating world descending on Boston for the World Figure Skating Championships. The championships featured a tribute to all 28 members of the skating community who were killed in that collision. Coming up on WBZ, something Red Sox fans have been waiting for this year. It's opening day for the Sox. 403, traffic and weather together. The Subaru retailers of New England all-wheel drive traffic on the threes. Where are we going, Gina?
We're going to go to the south of town right now, on the lower end of 128, your 95 ride crash at 135 in Dedham. You're back almost Route 9 now, running, and then after that is slow as you make your way through Dedham and then onto 93. 93 is busy both directions, onto 24, which is just a little slow at the Horse Bridge. Route 3 southbound, just at the top of the brakes at the lane drop. Now that's the ride to the south of town. The ride to the north of town, let's check that to see how the upper end of the is doing as we say good afternoon to Kristen Eck and the Nita Bank Copter.
Well, good afternoon, Gina, and we've just found a new problem here on 128. It's on the southbound side of National Street. Everybody's in the acceleration lane, so that's making it difficult for folks on Lowell Street to jump onto 128, and it's causing a curiosity backup on 128 South, which is now almost back to Route 35 in Danvers. Kristen Eck and the Nita Bank Copter.
And then if you're heading into downtown Boston on the eastbound side of the turnpike, we actually have a crash at the ramp 95 north to out for, and then after that, you're heavy from Fenway to 93 on the Pike westbound heading pretty much all the way Market Street to the Barracks. Lots of running room and a little slow going 95 to the Westboro Service Plaza downtown. As it comes to the tunnel onto the expressway, and it's very slow going down to Neponset, East Milton Square to the split. After that, looks as if we actually have a crash on that southbound side at Neponset Circle. We'll keep you updated on that. Then northbound Adams Street to Neponset, Mass Ave into the tunnel. Gina Tempesta, WBC's traffic on the threes.
We'll have partly cloudy as we head into the evening. Temperatures low 30s in south northwest suburbs, 38 in Boston. A couple of spots showers in a few places late tonight. Could be a snowflake mixed in the coldest spots. Breezy with some sunshine around tomorrow. We'll make a run into the upper 50s. Clouds move in tomorrow late in the day, and we'll have some rain moving in here after midnight tomorrow night with a low near 40. And then Saturday, a few showers around. A rather cloudy day. We'll be in the low 40s in Boston, though warm a little bit. Low 50s at least over the South Coast, Cape and Islands. Sunday, some rain possible in the morning. Most of that north of Boston. Otherwise, clouds and chilly, high 44. We're at 47 degrees now in Boston. Mayor Michelle Wu making some new comments today of her appearance on The Daily Show.
He was a New Yorker. They're just jealous.
Mayor Michelle Wu using humor to casually brush aside The Daily Show host Ronnie Chang's repeated references to Boston as a racist city during her recent appearance on the show broadcast out of New York City. Chang asking Wu how traditionally Irish Boston could elect a young woman of Asian descent as its mayor.
We recognize how much work there is still to do. Certainly Boston has made a lot of strides, and I was very proud in that setting and any setting to go and defend our city and represent who we are today, how we have learned from our history, and how we are still planning to continue the progress.
Mayor Wu quick to defend Boston on the program, just as she did recently when she appeared before a hostile Republican-led congressional committee in Washington. Mike Macklin, WBZ, Boston News Radio.
In mere moments, the Boston Red Sox get their 2025 campaign underway, taking on the Rangers this afternoon in Texas. Meantime, from Brockton to the Bronx, the Brockton Rocks announcing this week on Facebook that their catcher, John Cristino, was signed by the Yankees. The 2024 Frontier League home run leader and catcher of the year, posted on Instagram, since I was a kid, I've had the same dream, and that was to be a Major League Baseball player. He thanked those who helped make it possible and says without your endless support, none of this could have happened. You might think about old people when you think about heart disease. Now a warning for young people about the risk factors.
Many teenagers could already be setting themselves up for heart problems later in life. A study by the American Heart Association found the time between age 18 and one's mid-20s are crucial to heart health. Many teenagers are developing obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes. And it's important to address those risk factors at a young age.
That is CBS's Michael George. Just over 2 weeks until CBS Morning's co-host Gail King and 5 other women get to fly into space.
The 11-minute Blue Origin flight will take off April 14th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Former passenger William Shatner told Gail to embrace the moment.
The G-forces that are going to be on you, you're going to feel like, I'm going to die, but you're not going to die, Gail.
You are scaring the beef out of me right now.
The all-women crew will include pop star Katy Perry, former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe, civil rights activist Amanda Wynn, film producer Carrie Ann Flynn, and journalist Lauren Sanchez, the fiancé of Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
4:08, we head off to Wall Street. Tracy Junkie is at Bloomberg. Despite a little jump up before the closing bell, at the closing bell, the markets were down.
Yeah, well, Ben, Wall Street has a lot of questions about whether President Trump's 25% auto tariffs really will kick in next week. And the debate contributed to some swings in the market. That final swing was to the downside, with the Dow falling 155 points. The NASDAQ down 95, the S&P down 19. Auto investors mostly treated the tariff plan as a terrible thing. Others think it's horrific. Costlier new cars could make the rental car fleets operated by Avis Budget and Hertz more valuable on the resale market. Stock in each company jumped more than 20%. I'm Tracy Junkie, Bloomberg Business on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Coming up on WBZ, the local green crab might be a new staple ingredient for seafood lovers. We'll explain.
Our stories come alive on social media. Local news from local reporters. Follow WBZ News Radio on Instagram and TikTok at WBZ News Radio.
Are you taking care of a family member or friend and struggling to balance caregiving with your financial responsibilities? What if you could get paid for being their caregiver? With Caring Pays, you may qualify for adult foster care program if your loved one is on Mass Health and you live with them. This program allows family members to receive financial support while caring for someone they love right at home. Caring Pays makes it simple. We guide you every step of the way, from the initial application to getting approved, so you never have to navigate the process alone. Imagine getting paid while making a real difference in your loved one's life. Caring Pays is here to support you. Call 857-380-1182 now to see if you qualify. That's 857-380-1182. Or visit caringpays.com to get started today. Don't wait. Your support matters, and Caring Pays is here to help. Call 857-380-1182. 380-1182.
The world famous Shen Yun Performing Arts on stage next week at the Bach Center in Boston. Shen Yun revives China's lost ancient culture. 5,000 years of civilization reborn. Experience the magnificence of classical Chinese dance, where timeless stories unfold without a single word. Be captivated by a live orchestra that seamlessly blends East and West like never before. Handcrafted costumes and breathtaking digital backdrops transport you across time and space. Oscar winner Cate Blanchett calls it exquisitely beautiful, an extraordinary experience. Best-selling author Tony Robbins raves it's magnificent. More than just a performance, it's an inspiring journey through a lost civilization, brimming with beauty, wisdom, and grace. See Shen Yun at least once in your lifetime. On stage next week at the Bach Center in Boston. Tickets at shenyun.com. That's SHENYUN.com.
It's your last chance to get Disney Plus and Hulu together for just $2.99 a month.
Definitely a very smart move.
Get both and watch Star Wars Andor Season 2 and Mufasa the Lion King on Disney Plus.
There's a lot of stories with all of us.
On Hulu, it's the new season of The Handmaid's Tale and A Complete Unknown.
Give a warm welcome to Bob Dylan.
Don't miss your last chance to get Disney Plus and Hulu together for just $2.99 a month for 4 months. New and returning subscribers, 18 plus only. After 4 months, plan auto renews at $10.99 a month until canceled. Offer ends 3/30/25. Terms apply.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Sports Now on WBZ News Radio.
The Red Sox 2025 season is underway. They're in Texas right now. Top of the first inning, 2 outs. Scoreless. New ace Garrett Crochet is getting the ball for the Red Sox. He's opposite old ace Nathan Eovaldi. 22-year-old Christian Campbell is making his MLB debut at second base. He'll be hitting 6th. A notable player left off the opening day roster is bullpen arm Liam Hendricks. He'll start the season on the IL with elbow inflammation. And the men's side of the bracket is back tonight. March Madness continues with the start of the Sweet 16. Brian Antonelli, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
413, traffic and weather together. The Subaru retailers of New England, all-wheel drive, traffic on the threes. We're this close to Friday. That's why we call it Friday Junior. How we doing, Gina?
Yeah, I call it Friday Eve. That's correct. We're not doing that great right now, and we've definitely got some out there, including on the Turnpike westbound, Street to the Barracks Street, and that little run from then 495 to the Westboro Street. But on the eastbound side, some very heavy Barracks to a crash working at the ramp to 95 northbound in Weston, and then if you're continuing that ride into the downtown stretch, busy from Fenway to 93. Downtown Boston, Zako's actually eased out a little bit on that southbound side, but then it's going to be a slow roll as you come out of the tunnel right down to Neponset with the crash working there, and then East Milton to the split, Adams Street to Neponset on the northbound side, Mass Ave into the tunnel after that. Leverett connectors jammed on enough. Starrow's back to Mass Ave. Ted Williams very busy both directions to and from Logan, and the Sumner's just a little bit slow at the end, so that's actually gotten a little bit better. Leaving the city, a tough one from the Zachem Bridge pretty much all the way up to Medford Square, a little running room, and then Spot Pond to the Cloverleaf at 128. Let's see how that upper end of 128 is looking now with Kristen Knack and the Nita Bank Copter.
Well, over a problem, Gina, 128 southbound up Lowell Street. It's a crash, a bunch of vehicles involved here. The fire department has arrived in the last 10 minutes, so now they've got the right lane taken. You need to get over the far left lane to get by. It is jammed now back beyond 335 and Danvers. That'll be back to reaching you shortly. Kristen, I need a bank copter.
Yeah, and then even after that, Kristen, we're getting late word of a crash coming in on 95 southbound right at that ramp to 3 north in Burlington. Always a tough ride there as well. Now that lower end of 128 Kendrick Street down to that earlier crash that just cleared at 135 in Dedham. Now the northbound ride, you're gummed up from 9 onto the turnpike from that crash that's working there. Gene Tempesta does these traffic.
A little bit of cloudiness around tonight, partly cloud. However, some of those clouds could put down a shower in a few spots later tonight. Temperatures in the 30s, coldest spots closer to freezing, and some of those showers could produce just a little bit of a snow mix with some areas. Breezy, some sunshine tomorrow, gives way to clouds in the afternoon, but in the interim, we'll get into the upper 50s. Temperatures tonight fall back to about 40, clouds around here right after midnight. Showers around, especially early. We'll have clouds hanging in, temperatures in the low 40s in Boston, but will be a little warmer over the South Coast Cape and Islands, getting into the 50s. Sunday, a little rain possible in the morning, and then clouds hang in. It'll be chilly, mid-40s.
Live, local, and fiercely independent. This is WBZ News Radio.
Good afternoon. I'm Ben Parker. Here are the 5 things you need to know at 4:16. The Department of Health and Human Services says it will cut 10,000 workers and shut down entire agencies. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu says the recent arrest of a Tufts student by ICE agents is alarming. European automakers say President Trump's planned auto tariffs will punish consumers and companies around the world. The Senate Armed Services Committee calling for an investigation into the leaked Signal group chat on war plans. A local seafood company that specializes in clam broth made headlines at the Seafood Expo held at the Boston Convention Center. WBZ's Jim McKay tells us more about a new offering involving an invasive coastal crustacean that lines the New England coast.
If you're from the South Shore, you've seen them all your life.
The European green crab is no stranger to the beaches and shores of Massachusetts.
You wade into the shallow waters, they're crawling around your feet.
And did you know they're edible?
They're very sweet in flavor.
That's why Sharon St. Hours of St. Hours Clam Broth, based on the South Shore, created a new dehydrated broth out of the invasive green crab. Speaking with her at their Pembroke processing plant.
They make an amazing stock.
And it was impressive to the judges at the recent Seafood Expo North America at the Boston Convention Center.
We were one of the 3 finalists for about 70 entries.
So for the next chowder or seafood stew you're whipping up, why not start off with some green crab?
It's a really good flavor, seafood flavor.
Jim McKay, WBZ Boston's News Radio.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem took a tour yesterday of the notorious prison in El Salvador that migrants were sent to by the Trump administration.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem walked the halls of the prison accompanied by men with guns and with U.S. Secret Service agents.
It was a great day here.
She saw prisoners in cells with masks on, lined up with their shirts off, crunched together. No meeting with El Salvador's President Bukele, who's open to more flights and more prisoners from the U.S.
We talked about our cooperation on getting the worst of the worst out of the United States and out of our communities, making people safer.
But those flights held up for now, an appeals court temporarily putting a block on the Trump administration's Alien Enemies Act deportations. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Barely 2 months into President Trump's second term, some political insiders are talking about the midterm elections of 2026. ABC's Jim Ryan tells us in Texas, a battle within the ranks of the GOP is shaping up.
Incumbent U.S. Senator John Cornyn has announced his run for a fifth term. His biggest challenge may come from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who has hinted at a run of his own. Both would rely on the support of Donald Trump, and Cornyn says,
I'm talking to President Trump. He hasn't made any endorsements. He hadn't given any indication.
But in a post on social media, Paxton addressed Cornyn directly. Quote, "Are you delusional? You've constantly turned your back on Texans and President Trump." Unquote. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The lineup in Congress is part of the reason President Trump announced that he's pulling Representative Elise Stefanik's nomination to be U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. The president withdrawing the New York Republicans' nomination and says in a Truth Social post it was essential that we maintain every Republican seat in Congress. Thousands of Social Security recipients will see changes to their payments. They've gotten too much money.
Last year, Social Security opted to begin withholding 10% of a recipient's benefits to recoup overpayments as a way of significantly reducing financial hardship. Often, an overpayment can happen when a beneficiary fails to update a change in income. Now, business analyst Jill Schlesinger says,
if you were on that 10% plan previously, you stay on it. Any overage of Social Security payments now will be taken 100% back from your check until the amount of the overage is repaid.
That means some people could see their entire monthly check withheld, perhaps for an extended period. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
In less than 3 weeks, the anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing, Mayor Michelle Wu announcing the city will mark One Boston Day with acts of kindness. It is the annual call to action for community-based organizations, businesses, and the city of Boston's residents to come together for volunteer events and acts of kindness. One Boston Day is observed on April 15th and honors the victims, survivors, and first responders of the 2013 Boston Marathon attack. March 27th. All she wants for her birthday is you. Grammy Award-winning singer Mariah Carey, 56 today. Rolling Stone ranked her the fifth greatest singer of all time in 2023. Actor Michael York is 83 today. Academy Award-winning screenwriter, director Quentin Tarantino is 62. Actress Elizabeth Mitchell is 55. And Stacey Ann Furr blowing out the candles today.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
You know her as Fergie. She was with the Black Eyed Peas today. She's 50. Actress Emily Ann Lloyd is 41. She played Jim Lovell's daughter in Apollo 13, and if you want to feel old, she was one of the kindergartners in 1990's Kindergarten Cop. Again, 41 today. Actress Brenda Song is 37. Singer Halle Bailey is 25. She stars as Ariel in Disney's live-action Little Mermaid. Sir Frederick Henry Royce, born this day in 1863, is the father of the Rolls-Royce. The Yardbirds replaced guitarist Eric Clapton on this day in 1965 with Jeff Beck. Both of them did okay. 421, traffic and weather together's next.
Looking for traffic reports, breaking news, and weather is so easy. Just listen to BZ. You punch it up right there on your car radio, switch to the AM band, and then select 1030. Wow. Pretty easy, right? So easy. Now tell your friends about WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-461-8937. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-461-8937 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-461-8937 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-461-8937.
Hey folks, Billy Costa here. I am a big believer in following your dreams, and let's face it, nobody follows their dreams like small business owners. You know who I'm talking about. To take the leap into the unknown and bring your vision to life, there's nothing like it. And if you're a small business owner, you should get to know my friends at Cambridge Savings Bank. They're proud supporters of local businesses and the incredible people behind them. See how they can support at Cambridge Savings Bank. Go to cambridgesavings.com/vision. Member FDIC.
423, traffic and weather together. The Subaru retailers of New England, all-wheel drive, traffic on the threes, troubles. Where are they, Gina?
We've got quite a few trouble spots out there, that's for sure. Ben, we're going to start with one that's kind of in a tough spot. It's a right lane, actually it's a left lane crash coming in now to Neponset Circle, right on that expressway southbound, and you're jammed back into the tunnel, not quite onto the Zachem Bridge yet, but that's a tough ride for folks leaving the city now southbound again, down to that crash at Neponset, and then you're in the slow zone again from about East Milton down to the split. That northbound ride is going to slow you down from Adams to Neponset, and then slow from about Mass Ave into the tunnel. Starrow Drive's jammed back to Mass Ave. The Leverett Connector's busy on and off Starrow. Both sides of the TED, east and westbound, busy to and from Logan, and the Sumner's jam-packed again back to Logan. If you're leaving the city off the Zachem Bridge northbound, it's still a little tight from about the Zachem Bridge to Medford Square and then Spot Pond to the Cloverleaf at 128. Well, that's where we find Kristen Neck and the Needham Bank Copter.
Well, Gina, we've had a bunch of folks that plowed into each other on 128 southbound at Lowell Street in Peabody. The fire department has the right lane taken. We're still waiting for tows to come for all of these vehicles. You want to stay to the left. It's got you jammed solid back beyond Route 62 in the Danvers stretch. Kristen Ack and the Needham Bank Copter.
And then on the Turnpike, we have a problem spot on both sides of the highway, actually, just that heavy volume on the Turnpike, westbound Market Street to Newton Corner, and then West Newton to the Barracks. It's actually gotten a little bit better, and then a little slow after that through Natick, and then not too bad after that. It's actually eased out as you pass 495. But the eastbound side, you're in the thick of things from beyond the Barracks to a crash that's working a tough spot at that ramp to 95 northbound, and then if you're coming into the city, it's heavy from Fenway to 93. That ride on the Turnpike that's slowing you down is also going to affect your ride on that lower end of 128. You're 95 northbound. You're back to Route 9 and getting better from that earlier crash on the southbound side of 95. That earlier crash at 135. Still trying to recover from that. Gina Tempesta, WBZ's traffic on the threes.
We get a check of the 4-day WBZ AccuWeather forecast now, brought to us by Ketch's Law Group. Here's Matt.
Turning out partly cloudy into tonight. Brisk with a shower in spots late. Lows from 32 degrees in the northwest suburbs down to 38 in Boston. For tomorrow, breezy, early sun giving way to clouds, turning milder for the afternoon with a high 57. We are watching for some rain returning late tomorrow night with a low 40, and cloudy for Saturday, colder with a few showers around high 42 early on, though temperatures steady or slowly falling through the late day hours. It will be warmer for the South Coast, Cape, and Islands, where temperatures will reach the lower 50s. A little rain and drizzle at times Sunday, cold, high 43. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Matt Benz, WBZ Boston News Radio.
47 right now in Danvers. It is 50 degrees in Leominster, 48 in Methuen, and 49 degrees in Boston.
I had no intention of being an attorney until I was injured. I don't know if there's another lawyer in practice that really has a full 360-degree view of the entire process.
Results for you from attorneys who understand. CatchesLaw.com.
426, checking New England business. The Red Sox regular season underway today in Texas, and it turns out we're number 3. Well, if you're John Henry, not a bad place to be as owner of the Sox. As the new season unfolds, Forbes is out with its annual ranking of most valuable sports teams. Boston's Local 9, once again behind the Yankees and the Dodgers. Red Sox, third most valuable, said to be worth $4.8 billion, up 7% from a year ago. Wall Street didn't fare so well today. The Dow down 155 points, the S&P 500 off 19, the NASDAQ down 95. Coming up on WBZ in the news at 4:30, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu speaking out about the detained Tufts student and another round of major federal layoffs. We'll have the latest.
car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey guys, Billy Costa here, reminding you that Cambridge Savings Bank is here to be a partner on your financial journey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Don't miss Barmakian Jewelers Wedding Band event going on all month long. All wedding bands are on sale at the absolute best prices. Get to Barmakian Jewelers, Boston, Framingham, and Nashua. Barmakian.com.
Own a truck, car, or SUV? Visit Yankee Custom to outfit your vehicle with brands like Access Cover, WeatherTech, and Thule. For locations and the right parts right now, visit YankeeCustomTruck.com.
Do you worry about today's economy? Are you concerned about your current investments and questioning your retirement plans? Listen to Family Financial Focus with the Welch brothers from 93 Financial Group every Saturday at 6 p.m. here on UBZ. Hosts Larry and Paul Welch discuss financial topics important to you and your family. You can reach 93 Financial Group at 800-908-9334. Or for more information, including their disclosure, visit 93fg.com. Family Financial Focus, Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WBZ News Radio 1030.
Get ready as iHeartRadio teams up with the ultimate countdown king.
It's Rick Dees, and here's this week's number one hit.
iHeartRadio and the Rick Dees Weekly Top 40 with 2 exclusive channels.
Catch this week's biggest hits as we count down to number one.
Listen to this week's biggest songs with Rick Dees and the Weekly Top 40.
Then you can hear all of my legendary countdowns from way back, all commercial free.
It's the soundtrack of your life.
Search me, Rick Dees, on your free iHeartRadio app and listen now.
WBZ News Radio, where Boston hears it first.
Many people celebrate Pi Day by doing mathematical equations.
3.14159.
No, that's not right. They're eating pie.
Cherry, sweet potato, chocolate, cream.
It's Pi Day. You have to get pie on Pi Day.
Follow it as it unfolds on WBZ, Boston's News Radio. This is WBZ News Radio, where Boston gets the news. An iHeart radio station.
47 degrees in Boston at 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm Ben Parker. Here's what's happening. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu commenting about the Tufts student who was detained by ICE this week. WBC's James Rojas has more from UMass Boston.
After speaking at a summit at UMass regarding climate change mitigation, the mayor was asked about the Tufts student detained in Somerville and relocated by immigration agents.
It is alarming that there is the potential that constitutional rights have been violated.
She's calling for more transparency around these types of detentions.
We know the federal government has their jurisdiction. They have their job that cities and states cannot override, but they are also not above the law. And people's constitutional rights and civil rights are the law of the country.
Mayor Wu says her team has reached out to the mayor of Somerville to get any information they may have. At UMass Boston, James Rojas, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
And another rally is planned for this evening in Somerville at City Hall. Job cuts are coming to the Department of Health and Human Services. In a statement, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says, quote, "We are realigning the organization with its core mission."
The Department of Health and Human Services says it will cut about 10,000 full-time employees. That's in addition to the nearly 10,000 HHS employees who've already left the agency in the last few months through buyout offers or early retirements. Despite cutting nearly 1/4 of its staff, HHS maintains the restructuring won't impact critical services, but cuts have already hit top researchers at the National Institutes of Health. HHS says these latest cuts will save taxpayers $1.8 billion per year. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Pushback is coming from President Trump's tariffs. Yesterday, the president announced 25% tariffs on cars and parts not built in the U.S.
I'm Michael Wallace. Other countries are threatening to retaliate against Trump's auto tariffs. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says Canada has to inflict as much pain as possible to the U.S.
We either roll over as a country and he runs us over 15 times and gets what he wants, or we feel a little bit of pain and we fight like we've never fought before.
The foreign ministers of France and Germany are urging the European Union to raise tariffs on American products in response. China's foreign ministry warns the trade war will have no winners. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Pressure because of those tariffs bringing Wall Street down again today. The Dow off 155 points. The S&P 500 down 19. The NASDAQ losing 95 points. A recreational submarine taking an underwater cruise of coral reefs sank off an Egyptian Red Sea resort town today, leaving 6 people dead. 45 tourists, mainly Russians, were on board. The provincial governor says the remaining tourists, 29 of them, were injured. They were rescued. The cause of the sinking isn't yet known. In addition to the tourists, that sub had 5 Egyptian crew members on board. Coming up on WBZ, the city of Boston trying to help local students secure some summer jobs. 4:33, traffic and weather together. The Subaru retailers of New England, all-wheel drive, traffic on the 3s. Where's the trouble, Gina?
We have double trouble out there right now, Ben, on the Turnpike westbound. This thanks to the BC phone force calling in 2 incidents as you leave the city on the westbound side of the Turnpike. We have a center lane crash before Newton Corner, and then right after that, we have another disabled vehicle right at Newton Corner, also in the center lane. You're already back to Cambridge Street right now, so something for really folks to really be aware of. And then after that, you're going to be in the thick of things again from 16 out towards the barracks. That eastbound ride's no picnic either. Very heavy from before the barracks to a crash still working at the ramp to 95 northbound. And then as you continue that ride, not too bad, a little slow approaching Newton Corner, and then you're going to be heavy from about Fenway to 93 coming into downtown Boston. Downtown Boston's busy now on the lower end of as the lower deck as you make your way onto the tunnel. That's because it's very crammed as you make your way to a right lane crash all the way down at Neponset. The good news is it's on the tow, should be out of there shortly, and then it's a little slow after that from Furnace Brook to the split, Adams to Neponset on the northbound side, then Mass Ave into the tunnel. Lever connectors busy on and off Starrow's back to Mass Ave, and the Ted Williams Jam now both directions to and from Logan, and the Sumner is back to Logan at this point. Very busy leaving the city off the Zachem Bridge to Medford Square, and then it's going to be a little slow ride just about Montville Ave to the Cloverleaf at 128, and that's where we find Kristen Eck in the Needham Bank Copter.
And Gina, we've been following this crash on 128 southbound at Lowell Street in Peabody. The fire department's been here for a little while. An ambulance arrived a short time ago. They've still got the right lane knocked out. We do have one tow truck on scene, but this is going to be a little while longer here. It's got 128 southbound backing toward Cronin Street in Danvers. Kristen Eck in the Needham Bank Copter.
And then that lower end of 128, very busy, 95 southbound from Kendrick Street to 93. 95 is also a little slow on that northbound side from 9 up to the Turnpike with that crash that's working there. And then 93 is going to be busy on to 24 and 24 southbound, a new crash coming in at 106 in Bridgewater. Gina Tempesta, WBC's traffic on the 3s.
And we'll have some clouds around tonight, partly cloudy on average, a couple of showers in a couple of spots, and maybe even a snowflake mixed in. The coldest suburbs will be close to freezing in some of the northwestern suburbs tonight, 38 in Boston. A breezy day tomorrow. There will be some sunshine around, and that'll warm things up into the upper 50s. Some clouds move in as the day moves on, and then a cloudy sky tomorrow night. Rain will hold off probably till at least midnight. Temperatures tomorrow night near 40. Then Saturday, rather cloudy, a few showers around, about 42 in Boston, but it will be into the 50s as you head down towards the South Coast and the Cape and Islands. Sunday, a little bit of rain in the morning, especially north of Boston. Temperatures only in the mid-40s with the clouds hanging in on Sunday. Right now, 47 degrees in Boston. Well, it is spring, soon it'll be summer, and it's the time of year when students start looking for summer jobs. WBC's Mike Macklin tells us in Boston, the city and its school department are set to sponsor a summer jobs fair to connect kids with opportunities.
Last year, Boston set a record connecting teen students with more than 10,000 summer jobs. On Saturday, the city will host a summer jobs fair at the Reggie Lewis Center to connect students with more than 100 companies and businesses seeking seasonal workers. Boston School Superintendent Mary Skipper.
Summer jobs really are life-changing for students. It gives them exposure and experience to areas of industries that they may have interest in or they may not have even thought about. And getting to attend, whether it's setting foot on a business or setting foot on within a laboratory, they get to see something that's often sparks something life-changing for them.
Employers say the summer jobs program gives them an opportunity to evaluate student employees and identify candidates for full-time career opportunities once the student graduates. In Roxbury, Mike Macklin, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Bringing an Irish pub and an English singer to Ipswich.
Maybe we found
Ed Sheeran, who did a pop-up concert in Boston on St. Patrick's Day, is going to open the Old Phone Pub tomorrow. Sheeran says the pop-up Irish pub will be a full working pub, but will only operate for 2 days. It's named for Sheeran's newest single, The Old Phone. WBZ's Kendall Buell will be at the pub all day tomorrow. Keep it tuned to WBZ News Radio and the new iHeartRadio app. Make sure you make us your number one preset. 4:38, we head off to Wall Street. Tracy Jonke is at Bloomberg, and this didn't end well again.
Nope, we had another day of losses, slightly smaller losses than yesterday, but losses nonetheless. The Dow fell 155 points. The NASDAQ is down 95 for the day. S&P's down 19. The stock market is focusing a lot of attention on President Trump's 25% car tariffs, but his plans for 27% lumber tariffs also bear watching. Wood pulp, mostly from Canada, goes into the making of toilet paper, and the Canadian pulp is prized for its strength. So the tariffs could bring price hikes or less sturdy TP. I'm Tracy Jonke, Bloomberg Business on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Coming up on WBZ, Acadia National Park is going paper-free. We'll have details.
Download the new iHeartRadio app and make WBZ News Radio your number one preset and never miss breaking news again. WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
The world-famous Shen Yun Performing Arts on stage next week at the Bach Center in Boston. Shen Yun revives China's lost ancient culture. 5,000 years of civilization reborn. Experience the magnificence of classical Chinese dance, where timeless stories unfold without a single word. Be captivated by a live orchestra that seamlessly blends East and West like never before. Handcrafted costumes and breathtaking digital backdrops transport you across time and space. Oscar winner Cate Blanchett calls it exquisitely beautiful, an extraordinary experience. Best-selling author Tony Robbins raves it's magnificent. More than just a performance, it's an inspiring journey through a lost civilization, brimming with beauty, wisdom, and grace. See Shen Yun at least once in your lifetime. On stage next week at the Bach Center in Boston. Tickets at shenyun.com. That's SHENYUN.com.
Are you the breadwinner in your house? Life insurance covers the cost of living in case you're not there to provide. Are you a stay-at-home parent? Then consider life insurance to protect your loved ones too. Most people don't know if you have term life insurance, you may be paying too much. Term life insurance rates are at historic lows. There's actually a price war among the top insurance companies. Call Term Busters and get a free quote fast. Term Busters will do all the hard work of comparing rates from top carriers to get you the best coverage at the lowest rates possible. Right now, a healthy 45-year-old non-smoking male can lock in $500,000 in coverage at just $55 a month for 20 years. That's right, level rate for 20 years. Smokers can get good rates too. Call now for your free rate quote. 800-200-3070. That's 800-200-3070. Stop paying too much for life insurance. Call Term Busters now. 800-200-3070. 800-200-3070. Sample rate for preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Attention tax accountants. The following message is for you. Tax season is here, and if you're an accounting firm, the pressure is on. Long hours and tight deadlines make this time of year a challenge for even the most seasoned tax professionals. But this tax season, Blue Jay has your back. Powered by generative AI, Blue Jay is the preferred partner solution of CPA.com for tax research. Ask a complex tax question, and Blue Jay gives you better tax answers in seconds. Save time, maximize your clients' refunds with high-speed, accurate, and intuitive AI technology. Built with a library of only the most trusted tax resources, updated daily to keep up with changes in tax. For a limited time, save 40% off at bluejay.com/start now. That's BLUE, the letter J.com/start now. Or text taxes to 511-511. Save 40% by texting taxes to 511-511. Tax accountants don't leave money on the table. Stress less and text taxes to 511-511 today. Tax fees may apply.
Hey guys, don't search your cup holders for extra money. Visit findmassmoney.gov to see if you have unclaimed property. Maybe it's an uncashed check or a refund from an overpaid bill. Every state has a program just like it. In Massachusetts, the website is findmassmoney.gov.
Sports now on WBZ News Radio.
They're through 2 in Arlington, and right now the Rangers have a 1-0 lead over the Red Sox. Garrett Crochet, his first start with the Sox, 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks. He has allowed a run, but he has 1 strikeout. He does have 47 pitches through 2 innings, so something to keep an eye on there. Christian Campbell, his first game as a major leaguer, he is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Once again, through 2, Texas has a 1-0 lead. Over with the Orioles for a 6th straight year, Tyler O'Neill has homered on opening day. The Orioles are leading the Blue Jays right now. And winners of 7 straight, the Celtics continue their road trip in San Antonio on Saturday night. Brian Antonelli, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
You know the equity you have in your home? It pays to activate it. A home equity line of credit from Needham Bank helps unlock your dreams. Let us show you all that a home equity line makes possible.
I'm Joe Campanelli, President and CEO of Needham Bank. What can we help you build?
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
443, traffic and weather together. The Subaru retailers of New England, all-wheel drive traffic on the 3s. Brought to us by Needham Bank. Where are you taking us, Gina?
We're going to take a ride on the Turnpike again right now. Been very tough. We're going on that westbound side from Cambridge Street to a crash before Newton Corner. Looks as if they've moved it off to the breakdown lane, but it's a very tough ride there. And then you have a little running room break in that action, and then slow again from 16 past the barracks. That eastbound ride still very tough from before the barracks to a crash that they're wrapping up at the ramp to 95 northbound. We're getting word that they're getting ready to open up a couple more lanes there. So a little bit of patience, and hopefully that will get a little bit better for you. And then even after that, it's slow from 95 to Newton Corner. And then the ride to the north of town, we're still dealing with some problem spots. So let's see if it's any better anyway on that upper end of 128 with Kristen Eck of the Needham Bank Copter.
Well, as a matter of fact, Gina, I do have some good news to report. The crash of 128 southbound at Lowell Street in Peabody just cleared about a minute and a half ago. So all the travel lanes are open, but the backup goes back toward Cronin Street in Danvers, and it's really crawling down to where that crash had been. Kristen Eck in the Needham Bank Copter.
And then to the south of town, actually improving a little bit on that lower end of 128, although that 95 ride on the northbound side is a little slow from 9 up to the Turnpike because of that crash that's in the working stage. And then on that southbound ride, just slow through Dedham as you make your way from about 109 onto 93, where it's getting a little bit better, a little slow on 93 to 138, a little break in the action. It looks pretty good. After that, a little slow onto the expressway, and then 24 southbound is going to slow at the Horse Bridge, and one more time with a crash at 106 in Bridgewater. Gina Tempesta, WBC's traffic on the 3s.
Partly cloudy skies as we head into the evening. It'll be a little brisk and chilly. 32 in the coldest suburbs, 38 downtown, maybe a shower or two in a couple of spots. And in the coldest spots, there could be a snowflake or two mixed in. Breezy with some sunshine giving way to clouds tomorrow. While the sun is shining and things are going nicely during the day, we'll get into the upper 50s, so not bad. Partly cloudy skies as we head into tomorrow evening, and then cloudy overnight. Periods of rain get in here after midnight. Temperatures around 40. Saturday, some clouds, a few showers. 40s in Boston. Will be in the 50s over the South Coast, Cape and Islands. And then Sunday, only in the mid-40s. There'll be some rain in the morning, mainly north of town. Otherwise, clouds hang tough.
Live, local, and fiercely independent. This is WBZ News Radio.
Good afternoon. I'm Ben Parker. Here are the 5 things you need to know at 4:46. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says he will speak with President Trump about planned auto tariffs. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says agencies will go through a painful period after the announcement of 10,000 job cuts. President Trump withdrawing Republican Representative Elise Stefanik's nomination to be UN ambassador, saying she should stay in Congress instead. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the visa of detained Tufts student Ramesa Ozturk has been revoked. Well, now we're cooking. Boston hires a pro chef to give people pointers on the most futuristic stoves. WBZ's Hyle Schaffel handling the heat in the kitchen.
The science of induction cooking sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. A metal coil underneath a glass stovetop creates a magnetic field, which interacts with the pan.
And the pan starts vibrating, and the friction from the pan vibrating creates the heat to cook your food.
But because they work a little different than gas or electric, it helps to know how to use them. For one, the stovetop doesn't really get hot. The heat is generated in the pan, but your food gets hot pretty much instantly.
I can actually have my kids come up and help me cook.
Enter local chef Saba Waleed Duffy. She's been tapped by the city of Boston to spearhead the installation of 85 induction stoves in Dorchester homes as part of a green energy push, and to teach residents the ins and outs. She gave me a cooking demo on her own induction stove.
Yeah, we'll do this like at a moderate temp.
Where she was able to bring water from room temp to a boil in about 60 seconds. Kyle Schaffel, WBZ, Boston News Radio.
Some changes coming to a New England National Park. WBZ's Brooke McCarthy explains.
If you plan to visit Acadia National Park in Maine, leave the cash at home, because starting on April 15th, the park is transitioning to a fully cashless fee system, accepting only mobile payments, credit cards, or debit cards at park sales outlets. The National Park Service says this will reduce the amount of time staff spend managing cash and increase their availability to collect fees, which will lead to more revenue for the park. Now, if you only have cash, don't worry, you can still purchase a park pass from one of 9 local third-party vendors. If you plan to camp at the Duck Harbor Campground this season, all reservations will be released for the entire season at 10 a.m. on April 1st. Brooke McCarthy, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Starting today, a prescribed burn in Marlborough. The burn through tomorrow takes place in the Desert Natural Area off Concord Road. The Metro West Daily News reporting the burns part of a habitat restoration effort by the Sudbury Valley trustees and the city of Marlborough. The paper reports a prescribed burn previously occurred at that site, covering 14 acres in 2014. Since then, project partners have thinned and removed trees and cleared fire breaks in preparation for this upcoming burn. Wildfires continue to burn across parts of the southeast.
The worst of the fires are in the mountains of the Carolinas. There has been property damage and hundreds have had to evacuate. Dustin Johnson's wife worries a wildfire will destroy family property in Pickens County, South Carolina.
She's terrified. Her family's had that property for decades. It's on the brink of, being gone. She's terrified of it.
There is a chance of badly needed rain across the parched southeast early next week. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
A court appearance for a woman charged with running down and killing a Boston man on his bike in Cambridge. The victim, Daniel O'Neill, who lived in the Back Bay. CBS News Boston's Penny Commit spoke with his family.
Police say 32-year-old Lauren Mullen struck O'Neill and an MIT police cruiser with her SUV.
Sadly, since then on Sunday, he was taken off life support and he died.
Mullen is from New Jersey and has a history of drunk driving, according to O'Neill's family, making this tragedy harder to grapple with.
So she had a charge here back in December here in Boston that she was out on bail for. Within a week of that, she had another charge in New Jersey of being arrested and assaulting a police officer. She actually had 2 more in January, but all 3 of these were in New Jersey. So I don't think there's kind of a system of monitoring and alerting states when you're out on bail of other charges in other states.
Mullen was originally granted a $15,000 bail, but was back in court following O'Neill's death. The 73-year-old's family say they hope steps are taken to ensure Mullen can never hurt anyone else again.
Prosecutors asked the judge for high bail and home confinement for the suspect. Some young musicians have been stealing the show these days. WBZ's Drew Mulholland crashing into one studio session in Newton Center.
Yeah, quite literally, I have interrupted a practice session here with Farai Malik and Sofia Lafuente. Farai is a Grammy-nominated artist now. Wait a second, that is very cool.
Yeah, I think it definitely took some time to hit me, like walking the red carpet and seeing all these artists. I'm like, wow, yeah, a little bit of shell shock.
Farai and Sofia both have a show tomorrow together in Concord, the Umbrella Concert Series in partnership with Salt Lick Sessions, which provides support, grants, and guidance for these artists. Sofia tells me it means everything.
Kind of a lifesaver when you're trying to, work off of the momentum that you're building on a career. Grants like these really save us.
And for Farai Malik, she used the Salt Lick grant to drop her debut album right now, Edge of the Earth, hot off the press. Needless to say, she is thrilled to put it out there in the world.
I'm excited to share with an audience and with friends, and I'm excited to be able to do that finally.
A lot going on for Farai Malik and Sofia Lafuente. Drew Mulholland, WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Let me be the sun in your sky.
4:51, traffic and weather together is up next.
Are you looking for a podcast that's nothing but a big chunk of the biggest news stories of the day?
While you're at work, we've been working on these stories.
All news, no fillers.
Just like it says, it keeps me in the loop.
Get in the loop from WBZ News Radio on the iHeartRadio app, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The following is a commercial announcement.
It's the Money Minute. I'm Joni Ciani with Paul and Larry Welch from 93 Financial Group. We are in tax season. I wanted to ask you about retirement plans for small business owners. What are some of the options?
Yeah, small business owners, sometimes they say my business is my retirement, but I also say, well, you should treat yourself like an employee and contribute to a retirement plan. So there are plans available, a solo 401k, what is called a simple IRA for small businesses. But I would say the most popular one, Joni, is a SEP IRA, where you can contribute up to 20 to 25% of your earnings or your net income up to a maximum of $70,000 this year.
Wow.
So if you do that, you get some tax deduction for this year and you get all the accumulated growth for the future. So definitely look into that. And you can even wait till you do your taxes this year to contribute for last year.
Perfect. Great. There's your Money Minute. Listen to us every Saturday night at 6 here on WBZ. Call us at 1-800-908-9334 or visit us at 93fg.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Divorce changes your life and the lives of your children. This change can be good or bad. The outcome depends greatly on the attorney that you choose. So interview more than one attorney. Family law experience, especially trial experience, is important, but so is temperament and judgment. Also, remember to consider Cordell & Cordell. We've been serving men in divorce for over 30 years. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Boston area attorneys. 10 Cabot Road, Suite 210, Medford, Massachusetts, 02155.
453, traffic and weather together. The Subaru retailers of New England. All-wheel drive traffic on the threes. You're going to take us somewhere. I know you are, Gina.
Yeah, we're going to take you out to the Turnpike Bend where it's a big ride out there. It's one of our toughest spots, actually both directions. We had that earlier crash westbound before Newton Corner, and that is cleared out of the way, but you're back to Cambridge Street as a result. And then you're heavy after that from 16 out to Oak Street, and that's because we have a crash now on the eastbound side. This called in from the BC phone for us at Oak Street, and this is a backup from that earlier crash they just cleared out of the way at the ramp to 95 North. So hopefully with that crash out of the way, things will get a little bit better, but in the meantime, you do have still that crash at Oak Street in the backup, and then as you continue that ride, it's very heavy eastbound from 95 all the way out to Newton Corner, and then Fenway to 93 as you head into downtown Boston. Downtown Boston, the Zachem Bridge is heavy, and it goes all the way down to that earlier crash just cleared out of the way at Neponset. Then you're good to go after that. That northbound ride's very tough, though, on the expressway from the split up towards about Neponset, and then slow into the tunnel after that. Lever connectors busy on enough. Starrow's back to Mass Ave, and still a tight ride off the Zachem Bridge as you make your way northbound past Medford Square, and then one more time from Spot Pond to the Cloverleaf at 128. Let's check that upper end of 128 and see if it's gotten any better now with Kristen Eck and the Nita Bank Copter.
It's going to be a while, unfortunately, Gina, for the southbound delays at 128 that start back. It's almost back to 1A in Beverly at this point. You're crawling down through Danvers. There was an earlier crash at Lowell Street in Peabody. It is gone, but the damage is done there. North on the 128, we've got delays that start back in the Lexington stretch and go a good deal of the way up toward Walnut Street in Linfield. Kristen Eck and the Nita Bank Copter.
Oops, and then the lower end of 128 is going to slow you down from about 135 down to 93. 93 is busy onto 24. 24 southbound is going to be a little slow at the Horse Bridge, but then you're in the thick of things for about a mile and a half down to a crash in the clearing stage at 106 in Bridgewater. Gina Tempesta, WBC's traffic on the threes.
Matt Benz now with a check of the 4-day WBZ AccuWeather forecast.
For tonight, turning out partly cloudy and brisk with a shower in spots late. Lows ranging from 32 in some of the northwest suburbs down to 38 in Boston. For tomorrow, breezy, some sunshine giving way to increasingly cloudy skies, turning milder for the afternoon, high 57. We'll be watching for some rain returning then for tomorrow night, especially late, a low of 40. Rather cloudy and colder then for Saturday. A few showers around at the high of 42 in Boston. The temperatures may slowly fall through the late day hours. Farther south, parts of the South Coast, Cape and Islands will reach the lower 50s for highs. Sunday, cloudy and cold. A little bit of rain and drizzle at times at the high 43. I'm Mackie with a meteorologist, Matt Benz, WBZ. Boston News Radio.
50 degrees in Fitchburg. Provincetown's at 44, 46 in Taunton. It's 49 degrees now in Boston.
Get to Barmakian Jewelers Wedding Band event going on now. The largest selection of wedding bands are all on sale at the absolute best prices. Don't miss the final days to save at Barmakian Jewelers, Boston, Framingham, and Nashua. Barmakian.com.
4:56, a partial solar eclipse will be visible this weekend.
NASA says the eclipse will be visible early Saturday from the Washington, D.C. area to eastern Canada, with Maine getting the best view. The eclipse will begin before sunrise on the east coast and end around 7 a.m. Viewers are warned to wear protective glasses when viewing the eclipse. If you miss this one, the next partial eclipse in North America will occur in August of 2026. I'm Mark Mayfield.
By the way, sunrise in Boston isn't until 6:31 on Saturday. Maybe some clouds around here, too. By the way, that's just a few minutes before the eclipse's peak. 4:57 coming up on WBZ and the news at 5 o'clock. Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaks on a detained Tufts student.
What's up, everyone? It's Greg Rosenthal, and I'm teaming up with the king of spring, Daniel Jeremiah. He requires me to say that. We're going to be bringing you 40s and Free Agents, the only podcast you'll need this NFL draft season. From DJ's mock drafts to my top 101 free agents, we'll have it covered for you with all new episodes every Thursday, keeping you up to date as we head to the NFL draft. Listen to 40s and Free Agents on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow 40s and Free Agents and start listening on the free iHeart Radio app today.
A message from the Health Connector for Business.
We knew we wanted to offer employee health insurance when we opened Riverwalk Brewing, so we turned to the Health Connector. In about half an hour, we found coverage tailored for our needs. Now, I spend maybe 10 minutes a month in the portal managing our plan, and the staff knows they can see a doctor if they need to. Keeping good employees happy for the long haul, that's what it's all about.
Go to mahealthconnector.org/business.
You built empires, conquered markets. Now, elevate your personal life. Allure Matchmaking, where success meets its equal. Expert matchmakers, unparalleled discretion, personalized connections. Your time is invaluable. Your match, impeccable. Visit AllureMatchmaking.com or call 888-560-6860 for your confidential consultation. Allure Matchmaking, because exceptional people deserve exceptional matches.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code OIL25.
Hi, I'm James Pratt from Basement Technologies. Find out how fast and inexpensive it is to keep your basement dry for good. Don't let rain cause damage to your home. Call 1-800-BUSY-DOG or visit 1-800-BUSYDOG.com and keep your basement dry for good.
WBZ Boston, WXKS-FM HD2 Medford, an iHeart radio station. This is WBZ, Boston's news radio, redefining local news.
49 degrees in Boston at 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Ben Parker. Here's what's happening. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is defending the arrest of Turkish Tufts student Remesa Ozturk. She was detained by ICE agents Tuesday evening in Somerville. Rubio says her visa has been revoked.
If you invite me into your home because you say, I want to come to your house for dinner, and I go to your house and I start putting mud on your couch and spray painting your kitchen, I bet you're going to kick me out. But we're going to do the same thing if you come into the United States as a visitor and create a ruckus for us. We don't want it. We don't want it in our country. Go back and do it in your country. But you're not going to do it in our country.
The Department of Homeland Security says Ozturk was engaged in activities in support of Hamas. Ozturk helped to write an op-ed urging Tufts to divest from Israel and acknowledge the genocide in Gaza. Rubio says he's canceled the visas of more than 300 students so far as the Trump administration cracks down against anti-Israel activism on college campuses. President Trump withdrawing the nomination of Elise Stefanik for UN ambassador.
President Trump has pulled the nomination of Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be his ambassador to the United Nations. The move comes amid concerns about House Republicans' razor-thin majority and questions about whether she would have the votes to be confirmed. The president wrote on social media, quote, "With a very tight majority, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. The people love Elise, and with her, we have nothing to worry about come Election Day." Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
The Trump administration making some major cuts to the federal health workforce, as we hear from CBS's Linda Kenyon.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is cutting 10,000 jobs from his agency.